There are different reasons for low performance culture. A low performance culture is where no one is performing and there's a reason. And often that reason is fear. When someone is fearful, they feel unsafe, like their job is not safe. They feel like they're unheard, like they're not in control. They may have a volatile boss. They're always waiting for the shoe to drop because the company is, less than transparent. So there's a lot of distrust. And much of this is individual executive behavior. Now let's look at this. He might have an ugly face here and he's making a face, but he's not a bad guy. He's bringing his own behavior into the office. So maybe he grew up in a household where people snapped at each other, where people belittled each other, accused each other, bullied each other. If that's where he grew up, these individual executive behaviors then happen when there's stress and they just automatically happen. They're called risks, but they're individual executive behaviors that really, really cause enormous problems for the company. Now, I don't blame this person. I don't blame him because these communication issues can be addressed. Everyone can learn. He doesn't want to be this way, trust me. Now, when there is fear, there's low performance, and it feeds on each other. And there's this big pot of anxiety that tends to bubble out of it. And when you have fear, you're low performing because you're afraid to think. If you think, you might be belittled. You're afraid to create anything new. You may face a lot of negativity, afraid to challenge, afraid to do anything, afraid to perform, afraid to do their job. And this happens, and the performance of your company is slowly dying. And why slowly? Because this is a slow transition. Things don't get bad overnight. Companies always are looking for a positive, high performance environment, but this type of thing is a slow slide into a bad culture. And a lot of it is because of new management, growth, mergers, new people, new ways, new cultures banging together, and everyone brings their own baggage. We know something's wrong. Everyone knows something's wrong. Everyone knows who the problem is or problems are, but there doesn't seem to be a fix. And it's like the frog that starts to boil in the water. The frog in the pot doesn't know that he's in trouble until he's in hot water. I'm showing you this so that you can understand why this happens. When the culture starts shifting and it becomes negative and there are negative people involved, and then something called learned helplessness begins to take over. And it's like when, you tie up the elephant, but eventually you don't have to tie the elephant up. The elephant, because he couldn't get away, has learned to be helpless. It's that type of thing. There's a lot of I can go into better metaphors than that, but it's the same kind of thing. When you tell someone that their ideas don't make sense, when you tell someone negative and pass negativity around, it causes learned helplessness. Martin Seligman created this theory and helped develop this theory of learned helplessness. and it changes the brain, the pathways to the brain, and creates depression. But it's learned. You can learn helplessness and you can learn optimism. And here's a couple books that he wrote. Learned Helplessness, A Theory for the Age of Personal Control, What You Can Change and When You Can't, and Learned Optimism. I recommend. First of all, how do we fix this? Okay, we're going to do an autopsy. I need to do some 360s. We need to figure out what's going on. And we'll look at individual behavior. We'll look at company cultural behavior. And we will also create this strategy for tackling everything. This autopsy, this shouldn't hurt. You might be surprised, but it shouldn't hurt. This is good for everyone. We are going to figure out what's broken, and so we can quickly fix it. Okay, phase 2 is the buy-in. Boy, do we need buy-in. We need buy-in from management. To get the buy-in, there must be education tools. They need to know the why. They need to understand how to engage others and that culture rolls downhill. And they need to make a commitment. Everyone from the top down. Everyone on the same team, on the same page. Third phase, the lab. This is where we learn. You're going to learn from maybe a video I tell you, or a short story that I tell you, or tools that I give you. But you can't really learn and understand unless you have real-time practice. This is different. I want everyone that I am coaching, the executives that I coach, bring issues to me so that we can help sharpen leadership skills, use principles of influence, and also during the lab, you're going to teach everyone else to think, to do the same thing you're doing. This is the lab. And a lab can go for years. A lab can be, usually to change behavior, it can take a year. Just being very honest. And in fact, the way that I do it a quarter at a time because I need buy-in or else it's not going to work. So I just do 12 sessions and then the company can decide, can we do this? Is this going to help us? Because I need total buy-in. And you have high performance culture, you're creating a culture of trust, a culture of transparency, and a culture of accountability. And it's about executive behavior, corporate behavior, and there are very wonderful tools that you can use to create this high performance culture. And if you'd like to talk about it, then let's schedule a time. Talk to you soon.